Alright, howdy folks. Just wanted to do a run in the Pantheon of Hallownest. Yeah, it's been a while since I actually have done anything, so let's get rolling here. So we start out with who I think are some of the worst bosses in the game. The worst boss in the game. The issue with Vengefly King is that there's not a whole lot they actually do. Tell you what, I do like the battle theme in Godhoom. I have been enjoying the Pantheon of Hallownest, although I haven't gotten to have Rad yet. I've gotten close. There's just a few bosses that I still end up struggling with. So, the thing with Vengefly King is the Vengefly King's not very difficult. You just really wait for him to swoop down, you hit him, or use some Shade Soul. I want to talk about who I think is a better boss, and Bruh's mother. Not too hard, but I do like her Ascended Arena with the spikes in the middle. False Knight. Not too difficult. Although I actually do like him. As the first boss, he was really good. Although not very hard here because you can kind of hit him fast enough that he can't even do anything. But even after he's dead, you can Dream Nail his shell for the extra soul. Good old Massive Moss Charger. It actually took me getting a Godhoom to realize he even missed Massive Moss Charger, because I went over his arena once, her arena, I don't know which one it is, went over his arena once, and never returned. And totally missed this boss fight. Because I'm pretty certain I only passed through there to get the Shao, which I only ever did once. I did like the Hornet fight. Gonna get some healing in here. Although it's not particularly difficult when you do this much damage. And also when you hit this fast, because I didn't know this, but if you actually continue to... If you can put enough hits on a boss in a certain amount of time, it takes less to stagger. It's like a combo stagger. I'm impressed that for a boss rush mode, they made me wonder so much about the lore of the Godseeker and her ritual, his ritual. I can't tell which it is. Have Gorb. Say what you want about him. I actually don't mind the boss fight for Gorb. Also a fan of this arena. I actually do like this, although it's almost the same as Zero's arena. Dung Defender was a nice one. Although, once you realize that you can use Descending Dark or Desolate Dive to simply force him out of the ground, it makes him significantly easier. So if I end up getting as far as White Defender, White Defender I think is a definite step up from Dung Defender, although Dung Defender is not a bad boss by any means. Then there's one who I wonder how this one got into Godhoom, because Soul Twister's like a mini-boss. because the battle against Soul Twister reminds me a lot, to be almost like those ones you have against, like Moss Knight, where you end up fighting the two of them and it becomes like a little boss battle. I don't know. They had to put something on it. There's Tiso. It took me a lot of time to figure out how to defeat Brooding Moloch. I also take that to mean that Tiso got killed by a Brooding Moloch in the Colosseum. Not a difficult boss fight. I could have killed it faster if I used good use of spells. That's one thing. I'm kind of just used to beating all of my enemies to death. The Nail Masters would be proud. Got Brothers Oro and Mato. They aren't, I don't see them as very hard Pantheon bosses now, but tell you what, it took me a while to defeat these two. Okay, that was actually a pretty good play. Oh, forgot that you're not Oro, you're Mato. You've got Cyclone Spin. Like, I'm not good enough at them where I can beat them on Radiance, but Ascended's not really too much of a problem now. Although the only Ascended variants you get in the Pantheon is Hallownest is their arena changes. If there's no arena changes, they don't have the extra health or damage, which is nice because it would make this Pantheon really, really hard. Zero, he was a good introduction to the Dream bosses. Yeah, it was just good on his part. There goes all my lifeblood masks, although not that I really need them for this stretch. Crystal Guardian's not a bad boss. Just once you understand his very limited moveset, he's hardly a threat. Same with Enraged Guardian. Soul Master is actually one of my favorite bosses. I love Soul Master. Design-wise and fight-wise. Although, again, purely off being one of the earlier game bosses, not very hard when you get to late game, which is natural. But he just doesn't demand the really fast reaction times like Soul Tyrant does. Although I don't think he really needs to, considering his place, because, I mean, Soul Master's definitely not, like, the easiest boss in the game. It's just I fought him so much that I got used to his patterns. Oblobbles, I'm not a big fan of the Oblobbles, because Bullet Hell is something I kind of struggle with. Okay, that was bad on my part. But yeah, the Oblobbles were one I really struggled with. It took a lot for me to even get to Ascended, purely because in the second half it gets brutal. Gotcha. Ah, Manus Lords. At least as you're led to believe in the beginning of the fight. One of my absolute favorite bosses. Also has some of the absolute best boss music. And then we get Sisters of Battle. I do absolutely love this one. Although, well, alright. If you don't do that and die, like, that's incredibly rare that I ever die to the spikes here. Sisters of Battle is just... If you know, you gotta know the Manus Lord fight well. And also learn what the Sisters of Battle will throw at you. It's not often that they fall in that pattern so much, though. Oh, okay. Needed to jump there. And there's the fourth one. Man, die to spikes again. That is not very common. Alright. But yeah, you have to really get to know this fight well, because you will be fighting the sisters for a good while. Because I believe that on their Ascend version, they have the most combined health of any boss, even more than Ab's Rad. That was bad. Alright, I think this is the second one of these rooms we came across. And there's Marmu. I struggled with Marmu a lot initially, until I realized, well, wasn't even realization, it was just kind of getting to know Marmu's patterns. And also making darn sure that she doesn't bounce around everywhere. Because that's what'll get you. Probably should have thrown in some Abyssal Shrieks, because that does keep her at bay. I think it does hurt. Bluthmarm is a cool looking boss. But, not very difficult. Broken Vessel. It was cool that first time seeing one of these vessels who look so similar to me getting reanimated by the... I think they were infected life seeds. Yeah, unfortunately for you, you don't have enough time to do that attack. Gallium. It took me a while to realize, I believe that scythe he's spinning there is one of the scythes used by the White Palace guards. I forget what their actual name is. I can actually look real quick because, thanks to the new update, which they haven't made an update in 5 years, it pauses the game when you're in here, so... I forget what I was even trying to... Oh. If I can go all the way to the bottom of all 160 entries. Galen, that's Grim stuff. I think it's like all the way at the bottom. Yeah, I think that's the same scythe, almost the same scythe the Kingsmold uses. Certainly looks like it. Paintmaster Shao. Shao, I was calling him Shao. Don't know why I was trying that fancy maneuver. That clearly did not work. using his own nail art against him. There we go. Not the hardest fight. The biggest thing that gets me is his blue pain attack. And also, if you're not paying attention, like I wasn't paying attention too much there, he'll get you with his equivalent to the dash slash. Hive Knight. Okay, not a good. This is a very bad showing against Hive Knight. Hive Knight's honestly not too bad of a fight. I like his fight. Although his run back was awful. Especially since I didn't realize there was a bench in the hive, so I ran all the way back to the tram. That was a very, very painful run back. Elder Who's not a bad boss, just a very predictable one. Kind of the same with Collector, if I'm honest. Kind of fun when you fight him the first time, but once you realize that that's basically all he does, you just kind of stick on him. Especially when you can one-shot the creatures that he summons. Although it is pretty interesting that every time you died to him, you could find your shade in a glass jar. God Tamer was not exactly a difficult boss. Getting the God Tamer was difficult, because you have to complete the entirety of the Trial of the Fool. Which I don't think if anybody's ever played, I don't think I have to tell you that's a difficult feat. Although all you have to do is kill the beast. I don't think in any of these fights I've ever actually killed God Tamer. Only because God Tamer's got more health than the beast. Here's a wonderful fight, Grim. I did not like Grim at first, only because of how difficult he was. All you really gotta realize about Grim is that he's actually an incredibly predictable boss. You just gotta be very, very good with identifying what move he's going to do, because he's very unforgiving with reaction time. If you don't pick out within the first half second what attack he's doing, he's going to punish you. That's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't think it is. Because Grim is very much a very doable fight. I mean, I beat him on Radiant already. Same with NKG, although NKG is even more punishing. Not merely just the fact of double damage, NKG is even faster. And also throws new attack in the mix. And has been. Oh, I forgot you actually do get returned to one of these rooms after Grim. Oh, in case you're wondering what terms I'm using, just Sprint Master, Unbreakable Strength, Quick Slash, Mark of Pride, Steady Body. These are just melee build, That's also a melee build. It helps to cut down the enemies faster because no more recoil, and that's because I like being fast. Here we have Un. I do have to wonder what it was like what Un was like before the Pale King. Watcher Knights can certainly be a difficult fight. Just once it starts getting 2 at a time, they can really start messing you up if you don't keep on. Like, especially when they do one of those, that can get difficult. Especially when they do it from off screen, so you can't even see what it is they're trying to do. I ended up doing my speed run here of Hollow Knight. The most difficult fight was actually, I'd say, the Watcher Knights. Only because of no Monarch wings for that, since you have to go down to Ancient Basin for that, and Ancient Basin is somewhere I even went to. Because you can simply nail Pogo off of I think it was a base, to get up to Lurian's Spire. Here we have the Metroid reference. Tell you what, Umu is still a fight I find difficult even now. However, you're not as time dependent in this particular iteration of it. Oh my, that sucks. Only because you're not waiting for twirl. That also sucks. I'll say this, if you play your cards wrong in the Umu fight, it gets to you. Like, I don't get how that didn't hit Umu. It must have hit a flat one. That just kind of sucks. Okay, so this is suddenly looking a lot worse. There we go. And I know who's next slides after this fight. Still, 4 hits against Sly's not... Oh, it isn't Sly, it is Winged Nosk. Sly's after Winged Nosk. You want to talk about a fight I don't like? I do not like Winged Nosk. Take Nosk, who is already kind of a mediocre boss, and throw the Vengefly King into it. I know this is a reference to Nosk's original design, but this iteration of Nosk, I think, sucks. Alright, well, lose to Winged Nosk. Happens. I honestly haven't practiced Winged Nosk too much, because usually I get past them. But, yep. Well, that's where this video comes to an end. I hope y'all have enjoyed this video if you watched it. And subscribe if you like the sort of content I do. I do plan to upload more. It was mainly just Just work getting in the way of things, but shouldn't be like that much longer. So take care and enjoy. And God bless.